بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Today is the 13th day of Ramadan, 1433, corresponding to the first day of August 2012. So we're actually to the halfway point, close to the halfway point of this month of Ramadan. And part of the responsibility that we all have as Muslims is to evaluate and to look retrospectively at what has proceeded from the days. Have to look at and consider and weigh up our behavior and what has gone by in the month of Ramadan. If a person is not on a higher level of taqwa, a higher level of being aware and conscious of Allah, His surroundings, His actions, then something is wrong with the fast. And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told the people in the authentic hadith, "Inna as-sawm laysa an al-akli wa-shurab, innama as-sawm an al-laghwi wa-rafth." He said fasting is not abandoning your food and your drink. Fasting is leaving alone the lewd deeds and acting ignorantly and in an inappropriate fashion. So for an example, if an individual is having conflicts with his parents, then what kind of fast are you having if you're being disobedient? If a person is not praying the salat, what kind of fasting are you fasting? If a person is not reading the Quran more, listening to the Quran more, what kind of fast? To abandon the food and the drink is a part of fasting, but it is not the main goal and the main objective. And abandoning the food and forsaking the drink is one of the ways that a person gets control over himself. As Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned in the Quran, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Fasting has been made prescribed on you, wajib upon you, obligatory upon you, in the hopes that you will learn taqwa. So there are many benefits from the fast. From the benefits of the fast is that we learn how to be more conscious of Allah. Most of us are going to have a pretty decent fast during the course of the day, as long as we don't mix with people. As soon as we start to mix with the other people, they divert us. We start talking about what's inappropriate. We start wasting time. We start making ghiba, namima, talking about issues that are going to compromise our fast. But no doubt, the religion of Islam, we are people who are sociable. You have to be sociable in Islam. I'm sure you all heard the name of a man, Anas, like the Prophet's companion Anas, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiyallahu anhu. Anis, Anis, Anisa. The word Anis, that name, Anis, Anis, Anisa, it means a person who is sociable. The Muslim is naturally sociable. He's not going to live in this dunya all by himself, on an island by himself. He has to live with people and deal with people. But the challenge is, when you deal with people, can you remember the benefits of why fasting has been legislated? So when we mix it with people, we should advise them with that which is good. We should mutually advise one another. And when we mix with people, we should be aware of the fact that the people who surround you, who are in your environment, they will jam your fast up. They will jam your fast up. So these hours, as we mentioned before, this time that Allah gave us as a favor, a ni'mah, it's not coming back. We're not promised next Ramadan. We're not promised all of the seconds that pass us by. They are not coming back. So we have to take advantage of what's in front of us right now. As the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam described and exemplified, and he showed us, take advantage of the time. The surah in the Quran, wal asr, inna al-insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Allah swore by the asr time, or by time itself. He said that all of mankind are in a state of loss. They're going to come Yawm al-Qiyamah in a state of regret, jammed up, messed up. But he made an exception. All of them are in a state of loss except those who believe and they do righteous deeds. And they mutually cooperate on the truth, and they mutually cooperate in telling each other to have sabr. So when we come together in these types of sittings, we are cooperating on trying to learn our religion, trying to learn the religion, giving dhikr to one another. So inshallah, we won't be in a state of loss. Having iman in Allah Azza wa Jalla and trying to do righteous deeds like fasting, like praying. The people who cooked food today, they are mutually cooperating and doing what's good. From the best deeds in Islam is to feed people food. I want to ask my wife, can she please get my daughter under control? I want my wife to please get my daughter under control. So the point here, Ikhwani, is that when we are around people, our fast is going to be compromised if we're not people who are doing the due diligence to tell people, listen, these hours, these minutes, these moments that are passing us by, they're not coming back. And they're going to come as a source and cause of sorrow if we don't take advantage of them by reading the Quran, by learning the Quran. And that doesn't mean that Islam, or I'm telling people we can't have a good time and we can't laugh and we can't chill out. We can have a good time and we can chill out. But in the month of Ramadan, this is the month of the serious hunt. The serious hunt. And really, the easy hunt is started, the easy one. Started Ramadan, we're on the hunt, trying to get Allah's maghfirah, trying to get Allah's rahmah, trying to get the ajr, the reward. But the real big hunt of Ramadan, the big one, is still in front of us, inshallah, Laylatul Qadr. So the Nabi used to do a lot in the month of Ramadan. And then they described them, they said when the last 10 days came, he tightened up his belt even more. And that's why one of the advices from the beginning of Ramadan that we were given to the community is, don't get Ramadan burnout. You have to pace yourself, Abdullah. Remember the Nabi told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna hadha deen mateen. وَلَنْ يَشَادَ الدِّينَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَهُ. This religion, al-Islam, because it's not from mankind, it's from Allah. He said this religion is wide, it's expansive. Anyone who tries to do everything in it, anyone who goes into it tough and rough, it's going to overcome him. So he has to pace himself. He has to pace himself. If you wake up in the morning, you got to pray salat. You have to make duha salat. 2 rakats before Fajr. You have to connect to your family. The lady has to cook. You have to go and visit the sick. You have to go to the masjid for Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib. There are a lot of things. If you try to do everything, you're going to be overwhelmed, overcome. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to his companion, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, hey, I heard that you fast every day. It wasn't even Ramadan. I heard you fast every day and you read the Quran every day. He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, that's what I do. So he told him about fasting. That's not the issue. He told him, look, don't fast every day. Fast 3 times a month. He said, I can do more. He said, then fast the fast of Dawood, 1 day on, 1 day off. The fast of the prophet David, who was one of the prophets of Bani Israel, the Jews, and he's our prophet, and we believe in him, so forth and so on. So the best fast, you fast 1 day, then you break your fast the next day. Fast 1 day, break it the next day. That man was fasting every day. Then the Nabi said, I heard you read the Quran, the whole Quran in 1 day. He said, yes, do that. He said, don't do it. He said, read the Quran in 40 days. Complete it every 40 days. The man said, I could do more than that. He said, then every 30 days. He said, I could do it more than that. He said, then every 20 days. He said, I could do more than that. He said, then every 15 days. He said, I could do more than that. He said, then every 10 days. He said, I could do more than that. He said, then every 7 days. The Nabi said, وَلَا تَزِدْ عَلَى السَّبْعِ. Don't read the Quran in less than 7 days. But the Nabi himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he read the Quran in 3 days. And he allowed some of the companions to read in 3 days. And he didn't allow you to read the Quran in less than 3 days. In less than 3 days. So the point here is, Allah revealed in the Quran in Surah Taha, his statement, وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ لِتَشْقَى. We didn't reveal this Quran on you, Muhammad, to make it difficult for you. We didn't reveal the Quran to make it difficult. This religion is not legislated to make things difficult for you. Those ayat of Ramadan, Allah tells us about fasting, and if you're home, you should fast, and if you're traveling, then make the days up. After all of those ayats are mentioned, at the end of those ayats, He said, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah wants to make things easy for you. He doesn't want to make things difficult for you. So if you're sick, don't fast. If you're traveling, don't fast. If the lady is suckling her baby, don't fast. If the lady is pregnant, even she's just 1 month pregnant, she just found out she's pregnant, she doesn't have to fast. If she wants to fast, she can. But Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Abbas, they used to command their women folk, don't fast, because she was pregnant. And Allah loves it when you take advantage of these concessions. He loves it when, if you travel, you shorten your prayer. He loves it when you have an opportunity not to fast, you take the sadaqah and the gift that Allah gave you. He loves it. So don't make things difficult on yourself. So the point here, ikhwani, sisters, in this month of Ramadan, although the religion is wide, it's mateen, and you can't go overboard in this religion, still, the month of Ramadan is the month that we have to raise our game. This is the month where you have to go and make tarawih. And although you're tired, don't say Allah is Ghafur Rahim. Allah is Ghafur Rahim. No doubt. But you only get 1 Ramadan in a lifetime. That's how you have to look at it. In the month of Ramadan, the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِذَا جَاءَ رَمَضَانُ فُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجَنَّةِ وَغُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النَّارِ. If Ramadan came, whenever it comes, the doors of paradise open up for the many opportunities to get to Jannah. Feeding people by breaking their fast, feeding people by making food, making apologies and making islah, rectifying what's between you and others, people embracing the religion in the month of Ramadan. I became a Muslim in Ramadan. As a matter of fact, now that I mentioned that, I'm 22 years old. 22 years old, because I came alive when I became a Muslim. Prior to that, I was dead. So the doors of Jannah in Ramadan, they're open. All of the ample opportunities to get the reward. And the doors of the hellfire are closed. But the real point is that the other hadith is said that Allah has people that He emancipates in the month of Ramadan for the hellfire. So this is the month that Allah Ta'ala frees people from the hellfire. But which people? The people who understand the concept, the goal, the objective behind fasting. So what I want to talk about today, inshallah, is a disease. I want to talk about a disease. Hey, Maymuna. Hey, Maymuna, I want to talk about a disease. And let me tell you guys that there are many diseases that people are suffering from today. Cancer, when you start to get up in age, if you go and you get a physical, or if you have symptoms and signs of cancer, something is happening, you think you have cancer and you're waiting for the results. Everyone in the dunya is afraid of getting cancer. You don't want that kind of disease. Heart trouble, hypertension, all of those diseases, some serious diseases in the world. Diseases, many of which come as a result of what people do with their own hands. Like this issue of cancer. Cancer and the different kinds of cancers that they come as a result of the food that we eat, processed food, the amount of food that we eat, the way we cook it, especially us Muslims, black people, people of color, the way we eat. We don't eat healthy. The diet of most people just is no good. It's no good. So that food that we're eating makes a lot of people have cancer. The emissions in the atmosphere, all of the pollution, smoking cigarettes. Mankind has jammed up the environment, so we have to deal with this issue of cancer. And there are other diseases. Whatever the disease is, all of those diseases are secondary and they pale in comparison to the disease that we're going to talk about today. And this disease that I want to bring to your attention today, and I want you to consider, and we don't want to be of the people who have this disease because a lot of people have it. I have to make a disclaimer or a clarification. I am not, by the Lord of the Kaaba, I swear, I am not singling anyone out with this talk. So I don't want anyone sitting there thinking he means me. I do mean you, and I mean myself, that we don't want to be the ones who have this disease. So I mean us in a general sense, but I don't want you to sit there personally and say, this guy is talking about me. Like we have our friend Nigel. He's not a Muslim. He's been coming here consistently. He can listen to me and say, he's picking on me. The reason why I'm choosing Nigel right now is because I don't want him to think that. I'm not talking about you. When the imam in the masjid gives the khutbah, he's talking, everyone sitting there has to be sitting there saying, he's talking about me. But he can't say, oh, my mother called him and told him about it, so she told him. Can't do that. The wife, she thinks that the imam is talking, the wife thinks, oh, my husband went and that's why not like that. We have to grow up. We have to be bigger than that. So yes, the real Muslim, he has to sit and he has to say, that Quran is talking about me when it's talking about arrogance and all of that. It's talking about me. But Allah Azza wa Jal, He wasn't talking about your exact situation as such. The ayah was revealed for some other specific case. But the lesson is a general lesson. So I'm not talking about anybody here specifically. A general point. So the kalam is towards Nigel. And it's towards me and my wife and you and your wife. It's about everybody here. To push off of yourself this disease. And there are many diseases, many. But this disease has something to do with a person's behavior, the way a person thinks. There are many diseases that afflict and affect the body, and many diseases that affect the heart. Like Allah mentioned in the Quran, the sick heart. لَهُمْ في قلوبهم أمراض في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا. In their heart there is a disease, and Allah increased the disease. So the Quran tells us about different people who have diseased hearts. A person who's arrogant, he has a disease in his heart. Well, what are you arrogant for? A person who's lazy, he has a disease in his heart. A person who lies, has a problem with lying, has a disease in the heart. So there are many diseases. But this disease today, this disease is a disease that will prevent you from embracing the truth. And that is this disease of being blind. Not being able to see the truth when it comes to you, no matter who it comes from. The opposite sex, someone older than you, someone younger than you, someone more richer than you, someone from other than your madhab or your walk of life, someone from other than your religion. A big disease is when the truth comes to a person and that person can't embrace the truth for one reason or another. They are blind to the truth, totally, absolutely blind. And Allah can punish a person with this disease. He doesn't even see himself like that, but he's like that. He sees other people. Okay, this person is Hanafi, for an example. You have the ability to show him, and Imam Abu Hanifa is not infallible. He made some mistakes like every human being. And in the madhab, he made a mistake in this and that. No matter what you say to that person, he's not going to accept what you're saying. Now, you can see that in him, that fault in him. But when you turn it around on yourself, you don't see yourself like that. And we all have the propensity to be like this. All of us. When the truth comes to you, you reject the truth because the one who told you was your enemy. The one who told you was your wife. The one who told you was younger than you. The one who told you wasn't from your religion. The Jewish lady said to Aisha, the wife of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said, you Muslims have a lot of goodness in you, but you make shirk with Allah. You Muslims, you make shirk. Shirk, polytheism, having partners along with Allah, is diametrically opposed to al-Islam. A Muslim, he may make mistakes, she may make mistakes, but can't fall into shirk. It's diametrically opposed to the religion. We worship Allah and Allah alone. She said, you people make shirk. Aisha was surprised, shocked. She said, why do you say that? The lady said, because instead of saying MashaAllah all by himself, you say MashaAllah and Shah Muhammad. It is as Allah wanted and as Muhammad wanted. And that's shirk. If a person says, I'm sitting here today because Muhammad wanted me to be here today, that's shirk billah. Prophet Muhammad did not help me to get here in any shape, form, or fashion. He brought this religion, he spread the religion, and I embraced the religion. He helped me from the angle that he made it clear the religion. So Allah said about him in the Quran, إِنَّكَ تَهْدِي إِلَى الصِّرَاطِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. You guide to the Sirat Mustaqim, Ya Muhammad. You guide, meaning you made the role and the path clear. For anyone who wants to know the straight way, the Prophet Muhammad made it clear. But there's another ayah that Allah negated, and Allah said to him, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَن تَشَاءُ. You don't guide those who you want and those who you love. Meaning you don't have the ability to make them come to the truth. You only have the ability to make the truth clear. Allah established that. But he negated that the Nabi had the ability to do anything about people's guidance. And that's why some of the closest people to him died on other than Islam. And he couldn't make them become Muslims. So the lady said to Aisha, you Muslims make shirk. Because instead of saying MashaAllah, it is as Allah wants only. You say it is as Allah wants and Muhammad. She didn't say anything. Aisha left. She went to Prophet Muhammad. She said, Ya Rasulullah, that lady, the Jewish lady, she said that we make shirk. She said that we say MashaAllah is as Allah wants and Masha Muhammad is as you want. The Prophet, what do you think he said to Aisha? Did he say, may Allah curse that Jewish lady? The Jews, they killed the prophets and the messengers. The Jews are going to be in the hell. He didn't say that. He said that lady told the truth. He said that lady spoke the truth. Just because she was a Jewish lady doesn't disqualify her from being incapable of saying the truth. And the ayat in the hadith of Ayatul Kursi, how Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu learned the greatest ayat of the Quran, which was Ayatul Kursi. He learned that from a shaitan himself. So when it came to the attention of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Nabi, he did not say, no, that shaitan, don't believe anything he says. So the point is, the truth is the property of the Muslim. He has more right to it than anybody else. It's his property. So whenever it comes to him, he has to take it, no matter who's carrying it. No matter who's carrying it. Even if a person were to present the truth to you in a nasty way. Everyone has the responsibility to present the truth in a nice way, so that you're not responsible for people rejecting the truth. If you present the truth in a bad way, like the Muslims present al-Islam to the outer community, we present it in a bad way. They still are supposed to accept Islam because they're supposed to come and read and so forth and so on. And they're supposed to have enough sense that everyone is not the same, and they met some good Muslims, so they have to make a distinction between the good and the bad and so forth and so on. But even if someone brought you the truth in a bad method, you have to take the truth and leave his methodology. Don't reject the truth because of the bad method, the way the people say it, how the person say it. Focus on what was said. Now, before getting any further, I just want to say, Ikhwani, one of the reasons why people find it difficult to accept the truth when it comes to them is because the environment that we live in, the popular culture, TV, the music, everything. This world that we're living in right now, mass media, is designed to dumb everything down and to make people not think. To make you afraid to think on your own. To think on your own. The Olympics that are going on right now. I don't endorse the Olympics. I'm not telling you to watch the Olympics. I'm making a point, an example. The Olympics that are going on right now. If I don't care about the Olympics at all, I don't care about the Olympics at all. And if England loses every match, it doesn't make a difference to me. I don't care. In the society that we live in, that's not a politically correct statement to make. You can't even make that statement. The media, if they picked up on that statement with some people, there's a price to pay. Because you have to think the way everybody else is thinking. You have to feel the same way everybody else is feeling. And Al-Islam is not like that. Al-Islam tells each and every person, open your mind and think for yourself. I'm a husband. I can't make my wife think the way I want her to think. She has her own opinion. Many people, if you come to them and you say to them, I want your honest opinion, and you tell them what your problem is, give me your honest opinion. A lot of time they're going to tell you what they think you want them to say. Take your time and think what the person has said to you. Think about it, digest it, take your time, and tell them this is what I think. I think you're wrong. I think you're too tough. I think you shouldn't do it. Whether they like it or they don't like it. Most people are going to tell you what they think you want to hear. That's the society we're living in. Don't ruffle anybody's feathers. Don't disturb the water. Just go along with the flow. And Islam said, no, don't go along with the flow. All of your family members are doing something that's not sanctioned in the religion. Islam tells you, don't be with them in those things. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud told the people, don't be a copycat. If the people do right, you do right. If the people do wrong, you do wrong. He said, tafattinu, use your brains. If the people do right with them. If the people do wrong, abandon them and don't do the wrong. That's part of being a Muslim. When the truth comes to you, accept the truth, no matter who brings it to you. Now look at all of these verses of the Quran that Allah mentioned. So many verses about this lesson. And there's so many telling us the importance of the issue. Allah Ta'ala said to the Nabi about some people, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَى أَبْصَارِهِمْ ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة لا يبصرون. Allah said, Muhammad is the same. Whether you warn these people or you don't warn these people is the same. Allah has put a seal on their hearts. And He has put a blanket over their eyes, a covering. It's the same. Allah mentioned in another ayat about some of the people that we can't be like this. He said, مثل الذين مثله كمثل الكلب إن تحمل عليه يلهث وتتركه يلهث. The example of the person when you bring him the proofs and they don't listen, their example is like the dog. If you bother him, he'll pant with his tongue out, and if you leave him alone, he'll pant with his tongue out. It's just the same. A dog, you go up to him, he's just going to sit there and look at you. The ayat is telling you, don't be like that. Don't be a person who can't accept. It's just everything is the same. Allah Ta'ala mentioned the third ayat, لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا أُولَئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. He said that there are some people, they have hearts that they can't understand with, they don't use them to reflect, and they have eyes that they can't see with, and they have ears that they can't hear with. Those people are lower than the animals. They're like animals. And then the ayah said, no, instead, they're lower than the animals because they're not cognizant. The animal is just worried about what he's eating and having more children, procreating. That's it. That's what they are interested in. The Muslim is engaged with more than that. He has to eat and he has to get married, but there are other things. He has to take care of his children's education. He has to have aspirations and ambition to make a better future for himself, inshallah. He has to try to spread khair, or good, wherever he finds himself. He has to try to eliminate and eradicate and minimize evil in the environment that he's dealing with, his family and wherever he's coming from. Point is, she's more preoccupied with life than just eating and just drinking. So that ayat mentioned and described the people as that situation. Look what happened with the Jews, Ikhwani, the Jews during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, many of us, we think, if I was present when Moses came, or if I was present when Shu'aib came, and I was present when Noah came, and I was present when Muhammad came, I would have heard their message and I would just got on the boat. That's not true. That's not true. Don't think that the people who were with them were not like us. They were replicas of the people who we know, and they were replicas of us. Many of you people, many of you brothers and sisters, you became Muslims as a result of it being given to you. And there's virtues in that. But don't say, if I was there. This man Nigel, why hasn't Nigel accepted Islam yet? He has his own mind. He's looking at things and he's trying to make a decision. Or he doesn't want to make the decision. All of that is with him. It's between him and Allah. He has a choice. You people, most of you, this brother right here, Damien, he became a Muslim 8 days ago. He made a conscious effort and he embraced Islam. And now he's trying to pattern his life after Muslims. He has a funny thobe on, but his thobe is high. No, he has flip-flops on in a thobe. It'll work, man. Do you. I do when you do you, Damien. It's all right. It's all good. Anyway, sitting in the first row and he's trying to learn and he's going to grow. 20 Ramadans from now, inshallah, he's going to look back at this time and say, wow. And I hope at that time, the Salafi people are going to be united, and Salafiyah is going to be prevalent for all of the Muslims. So anyway, the point is, if some of you brothers and sisters had to have chosen your religion, Islam, you may have been like Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl, Allah forbid. You may have been like those people who rejected Musa's call and so forth and so on. Could have been like that. We could have been like that. So don't say, if I was there. Musa came to the Hebrews, the Israelites. He came to them with 9 signs that have been mentioned in the Quran. Every prophet and messenger, when they came to their people, they came with signs to cause the people to believe. Hey, mamacita, go over there. Go over there. Go over there, go over there. From those signs, he touched the water and the Red Sea opened up. After that, who in his right mind is not going to believe that this man has been divinely sent by Allah? He threw the staff out. His staff ate the magic staffs of the magicians. He pulled his hand out, and his hand was white. Everybody looked at it, and it was white. It was no magic trick. Frogs. He told Pharaoh, you better believe. Pharaoh said no. He said, okay. The frogs came into the city. Everywhere you stepping on frogs. They jumping in your house all over the place. They're in the bathtub. They're in the toilet. They're in your bed. When you open up the cabinets where you're going to get the tin out to cook, they're in the refrigerator. Frogs is just all over the place. They said, okay, take it away. We're going to believe. He took the frogs away. After that, they still didn't believe. Lice came. Lice that be jumping in your head. Lice overwhelmed the people. We're in a room like this. Lice just overwhelming us in here, making the quality of our life affected. Okay, take it away. We're going to believe. He took the lice away. They didn't believe. The blood came, all of their water, the liquid in the river. You open up the faucet, the tap, it came out blood. The juice we're about to eat, we're going to go break our fast. Everything is blood. And you're in Egypt, thirsty, and you need water, and it's all blood. I mean, after the first sign, it should be enough. Okay, second sign, it should be enough. But 9 signs. Bani Israel, Allah Ta'ala told us in the Quran, وَلَئِنْ أَتَيْتَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ بِكُلِّ آيَةٍ مَا تَبِعُ قِبْلَتَكَ. When the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to pray towards Jerusalem, the Jews were happy with that because he was doing something showing respect to their religion. And then Allah told him, turn away from Jerusalem and face towards Mecca. And they knew about this. They had prior knowledge that the last prophet and messenger is going to come and he's going to do that. It was a sign. So Allah revealed this ayat and it said, if you were to give those people who were given the book, the Jews and the Christians, if you were to give them every sign, every ayat, they're not going to follow your Qibla. What makes you think they're going to follow your Qibla and all of those signs that were given to them by Moses? That's because their hearts were closed. All of those signs. And Allah Azza wa Jalla freed them from Pharaoh, from the grips of Pharaoh. Pharaoh used to make those people work from sun up to sundown, and they had tough jobs. And he used to kill their firstborn. Just imagine your wife, you have your first baby. Your first baby comes out. Pharaoh comes and takes your baby and kills your baby. And not only that, he can do anything the Quran said. He used to do whatever he wanted to do with their women, with their wives and their daughters, whatever he wanted to do. And you couldn't do anything if you were from Bani Israel, from the Hebrews. You couldn't do anything. يَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَكُمْ. He used to keep your women folk alive to do with them what he wanted to do with them, whenever he wanted to do with them. They were under some serious yoke of oppression. Musa came single-handedly. All of that he did, they let him go. They freed them. And then they went after them, after Bani Israel, and Allah drowned them and killed and destroyed their enemy. They didn't have to fight Pharaoh. Allah destroyed them. As soon as they got on the other side of Pharaoh being destroyed, they saw some people worshiping something. They started worshiping what those people were worshiping, just like that. So the point here is something can be wrong with the individual where he doesn't have the ability for one reason or another to accept the truth. He rejects the truth. Allah said about Bani Israel that they said to Allah Ta'ala, to Musa, لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ حَتَّى نَرَى اللَّهَ جَهْرًا. We're not going to believe in you, Musa, until we see Allah face to face. That's when we're going to believe. So the point here is, it may be said to you, or it may be said to one of us, hey, you have some arrogance in you. Your wife identifies something in your character. You're not a truthful person. You're a deceitful person. You are a lazy person. You talk too much. Someone says something, hey, you're fast. The fast that you're fasting, not wearing proper hijab, is compromising your fast. Not praying is compromising your fast. whatever the character flaw is, if someone brings the truth to you about yourself or whatever the case happens to be, you have to accept it. You have to accept it. And we can't afford to be like those people who, when the truth comes to them, they turn a blind eye to it. They throw it behind their backs. They become haughty and arrogant, and they don't want to accept it, and they give excuses. Start giving all kinds of excuses. Those excuses, they're going to hurt you. They're going to harm you. They're going to hurt you. They're going to harm you. Because as I mentioned, the truth should be more beloved by the believer than anyone else. One of the meaning of truth in Arabic, the way you say truth, anybody know? Put your hand up if you know how to say the truth in Arabic. How do you say the truth? Everybody should put his hand up. Whoever doesn't know the word truth in Arabic, put your hands up if you don't know. Damien, I understand your situation. How many of you know the word of truth? Put your hand up. Now, some of you didn't put your hand up on either one. So what's your situation here? This brother right here, Damien, that brother, the fourth one. What is the truth in Arabic? Haq. The truth is haq. One is haq and multiple is huquq. But huquq, haq also means your rights. You didn't give me my haq. I could give your wife a haq. Give your mother, your father their haq. Give your body its haq. That haq can be plural and it's huquq, rights. As for haq, the truth, there's no plural because there's only one truth. There's truth and falsehood. There's only one truth. That goes to show that the madhabs, they have to be wrong because this madhab says do it and the other madhab says don't do it, and people say both of them are right. No, both of them not right. It's only one truth. Only one truth. Only one truth. As for batil, falsehood, there are many, many falsehoods. Many, many. As for the haqq, it's only one. There's no two ways about it. So we have to be those people who realize Al-Haqq is a name of Allah. Allah is Al-Haqq. He is the truth. Al-Haqq. Abdul Haqq. Everybody here is Abdul Haqq, Abdul Haqq. The slave of the truth. He is the truth. Since Allah is the truth should be loved by the Muslim more than anyone else. Truth is the property of the Muslim before it's the property of anyone else. When it comes to you, accept it and embrace it and go about your business. When people bring you the truth, accept it and embrace it. And one truth that is indisputable is the truth that our time, our precious time, it's not going to come back to us. So therefore, let us try to take ample opportunities that are present to us in the month of Ramadan to try to make tawbah to Allah, ask Allah to forgive us, and also to do the righteous deeds. And from the best righteous deeds in the month of Ramadan is for us to try to read the Quran more and to listen to the book of Allah more. So it is now 8:30, inshallah. We have 10 more minutes, 15 at the most, bi'idhnillah, to start getting ready for the break fast. So if you brothers and sisters have any questions about this talk, about Ramadan, or general questions, you can ask your question now. But before I forget, when we finish from here, whoever wants to make wudu and prepare himself for salah, the brothers, you have to go out the door here. You have to go out of this door and go to the toilets, akramakumullah, from here. Because this is where the sisters are going to be using this space. So you have to go out around here to this door. So if you brothers have any questions, inshallah, you can put your question forward. Now, what's your name, Akhi? Atif. Do you know what that means? It actually means emotional. Atif, to have your emotions, to be a person who, but it's not negative in your case. Like the woman is emotional. She's crying and being la. I guess in your case it means someone who is like feeling for others. He's sensitive to others. He's he's one of those people. It's a nice name, Akhi. تفضل أخي عاطف. Our brother Atif wants to know, what about the hadith where the Jew or someone said to the Nabi al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how many legs are on your riding beast? And then the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam got off and he told him 4. He told him 4? He looked and then he told him 4. Why did he get off his riding beast and he already knows 4? Why did he get off and look? What's the benefit of that? I don't know that hadith. I never heard of that hadith. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I never heard of it. But it has the aroma and the smell of a weak hadith. It has the aroma and the smell of a weak hadith. And that is because we're regular people. We are regular people. Some of us are more intelligent than others. But the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most intelligent person. If someone comes to you, you intelligent people, moderately average intelligent people, someone came to you and he said, look, I have a very serious question to ask and I need you to pay attention to me and look in my eyes and don't blink. Don't look to the right, don't look to the left. This is really bothering me and I really need to know the answer. Please. What you say is going to help me. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I really need to know the answer to this question and you're going to help me. Please, Sheikh, please. You say, oh, okay. What's the question? And he says to you, is water wet? You're going to say, ma salama. Ma salama. I'll see you later. You're not going to give him time because you know he's either playing with you or something's wrong. Asking a question like that. And the one who sits to answer that question, something's wrong with you. And Imam Malik, true story, he was old. And he used to dress nice for his class. And he used to put a nice turban on anytime he went out to give a class. And the reason for that is the hadith of Jibril. When he came and he asked the Nabi, what is Islam, what is Al-Iman, and what is Iman? His clothes were exceedingly white and his hair was exceedingly black. He looked nice. So Imam Malik would dress nice anytime he gave a lecture. But as he got older and older, he had problems with his legs. He was an old man. So he would sit down and he would sit with his legs out like this. And in the Arab world, that's disrespectful to put your leg to someone's face. You know how you sit in a chair and you put one leg over the other leg? In the Arab world, that's bad etiquette. You shouldn't do that. If your foot is pointing towards someone, it's as disrespect. That's why when George Bush was talking in Iraq and the man picked his shoe up and he threw it, many people say, oh, he missed. But in the Arab psychology, the fact that he threw the shoe, he won. Just the mere fact that he took his shoe off and threw it. Because it's saying to the man, you're lesser to me than, you're from the less thing that I can think of, the shoe. So never ever put your foot towards the Arab in the Arab world. Now if you come on, that's not our thing. Imam Malik used to sit and he used to give the class like this. Those who knew him knew his situation. But one time Imam Malik saw a man in his class in the Prophet's masjid who he never saw before. And the man looked like a person of respect, maybe some big scholar. Imam Malik never left Medina to travel to any country. Everybody came to him. He never went to Iraq. He never went to Egypt. He never went to any country. He's the only scholar who stayed in his country. Everybody came to him. So Imam Malik, when he saw that man coming in, he said maybe that man could be one of the great scholars I heard of. Sufyan al-Thawri, he could be anyone. So what did he do? He put his feet in out of respect, so that the man wouldn't say, look, he's teaching, acting like that. Put his feet in and he sat up and he continued to talk. After he finished question and answers, that time came. The man said, I have a question. He said, Tafaddal, go ahead. The man said, okay, it's Ramadan right now. In the month of Ramadan, what happens? If the sun rises from the west and sets in the east, how are we going to start our fast? That man thought that was a deep and heavy question, but the Muslim knows one of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah is the sun is going to rise from the west and set in the east. And when that happens, Iman won't be accepted, because everyone's going to know La ilaha illallah. There's no God worthy of worship on that day. And Jesus is not the one who did that to the sun. Moses, Muhammad didn't do that to the sun. So when it rises in the west, the opposite of what it's been doing all of this time, everybody who's living at that time, they're going to say there's no God worthy of worship but Allah, but it's too late to accept Islam. That man said, what happens if it's Ramadan and the sun rises from the west and sets in the east? When Imam Malik heard that question, he took his feet and he put them back out like that. And the reason why he put his feet back out like that is because I'm not wasting my time on what are you trying to be funny? Do you think that's what kind of question do you, for me to answer that question reflects on me first before it does on you. So that hadith, Atif, has that type of aroma. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, busy man that he is, the man who told us don't waste time, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't waste any time. Getting off of his horse and looking at the legs of the camel or the horse and then telling the person it's 4. That person who asked that question can say, look how dumb Muhammad is. That he could say, look how dumb he is. Why would he get off his camel? Everybody knows my little baby, Humaira. Hey girl, how many legs on the horse? You're going to say 4. You're going to say 4. So I doubt that that's authentic. Look it up more and get back. And Allah who knows best. I'm not saying it's not authentic. It smells like it. It sounds like it. It's one of those things when you hear it, doesn't sound right. Naam, Sheikh. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us about Ramadan and praying, and qama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaba ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi. Anyone who prays specifically in Ramadan with iman and seeking his reward, it will be forgiven for his sins. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the month of Ramadan prayed with the people in Ramadan sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam, and outside of Ramadan. So for someone to say that is not acceptable. In addition to that, Umar radiallahu anhu in the month of Ramadan, he gathered the companions up in Ramadan and he put them behind 3 different reciters, and the Nabi told the people sallallahu alayhi wasallam, alaykum bis sunnati wa sunnati al khulafa ar rashidin al mahdiyin min ba'di addu alayha bin nawajid. Take my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided khalifas, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. And they were all present. The companions were all present when Umar radiallahu anhu did this. And the Nabi said, "Lan tajtama'a ummati ala dhalala." My ummah will never agree to something that's wrong. So when Umar brought them all together, all of the companions knew about it. And if it was wrong and not correct and innovation, they would have said, you can't do this. So praying Ramadan, the Taraweeh in Ramadan is from the Sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they should be 11 rakat, because the Nabi, he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the companion said he never prayed more than 11 rakat. Aisha said in Ramadan or outside of Ramadan. If people pray more than that, there is some dalil that would suggest you can pray more than that. This person said, can you please clarify when we are supposed to start fasting in this country? You take the calendar, the prayer time of a recognized masjid, who's known for being on the sunnah, and you follow that calendar. On the computer, you can find out through the astrology, those sites where you can find out prayer time in any country. You get a reliable one, and whatever time they say Fajr comes in, as long as it's relatively close to what people are doing, then that's the one that you follow. As for the local masjids where they say you have to stop eating 30 minutes, 45 minutes before Fajr comes in, don't listen to that. Fajr comes in now at 3:40 now. 3:40, right? It was 3:30, it was 3:27, 6 at the beginning of Ramadan. Now we're 13 days into Ramadan, it's like 3:40 now. So you may find certain calendars, you guys have to excuse me, but I see them bringing food, watermelons and stuff like that, so my mind is just, I'm looking at them watermelons, man. So the person, he can eat all the way up into 3:38, 3:39. And you should try to delay the suhoor as close to Fajr time as possible. Don't stop eating 30, 40 minutes before the time. Don't do that. The sunnah is to eat as close to the time as possible. Any more questions, Ikhwani? Now, yes. In the dua of al-qunut, any dua of salat, qunut, Ramadan, outside of Ramadan, the Prophet used to make a dua, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, supplication, and he raised his hands. The companions used to raise their hands, and they used to say, Ameen, Ameen. But Ikhwani, there's something that you have to be aware of concerning the Ameen, and that is, sometimes the Imam is not making a dua, he's making a point. And people are saying Ameen. Like the Qunut of al-Witr. The Qunut of al-Witr is, Allahumma ihdina fi man hadayt. Ameen. Allah guide us from those who you guide. And you keep saying Ameen. But part of the Qunut is, Innaka taqdi wa la yuqda alayk. You're the one who judged, and no one judges on you. And people say, Ameen. That's not a dua. That's not a dua. You're the one who judges, and no one judges you. Ameen is not appropriate there. Sometimes the Imam is mentioning the characteristics of Allah, describing Allah. Allahumma anta Allah alladhi la ilaha illa ant. Ameen. That's not a dua. Oh Allah, you are Allah, who there's no God worthy of worship except you. Ameen. No. So if you're not sure, hold back your Ameen. But even if you say Ameen for everything, because we're not Arabic speakers, inshallah, Allah is Ghafur Rahim, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows our situations.